Jared. This is a big one, man. The featured prelim of a pay-per-view against a former UFC champion. Talk to me about how you're feeling. Does it feel any different, any bigger for you?
I'm just still fangirling inside. I mean, I get to fight Arlovsky, so I'm like, oh my god, I get to fight the Pitbull. Outside of camp-wise, camp's been harder because I am a fan and fangirling way too hard. Like, I'm gonna beat his ass out of respect. But yeah, no, I'm excited for this fight, and on the card, I really don't care where I'm at, but it's kind of cool that it's a pay-per-view, and I'm the featured prelim. That's just like cherry on top type of thing.
Now, he made his pro MMA debut when you were 6 years old. Is that kind of crazy to you, like when you were a kid or whatever, teenager watching UFC, that like that guy is the guy that you're stepping in the cage with on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, the dude's kind of old. No disrespect. He's like, what, 43 now? But the dude's also still whipping people's asses still. So I mean, you gotta respect the guy's skill, regardless of his age.
Were you surprised at all that he was the name that came across your desk? Were you expecting, because he's, I think, 4-1 in his last 5. I think you were coming off a loss. Were you surprised that Arlovsky was the name they gave you?
Yes, because I was offered Chris Barnett. He got hurt, and it fizzled through. And they're like, I was in the middle of teaching my class as I saw my phone go off. It's like, you want to fight Arlovsky this weekend? I just remember throwing the phone, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking fight Arlovsky, yeah! Like I said, I've been fangirling about this fight for a while.
And from your end, you won a Contender Series, you lost your debut, you had the great fight against Justin Tafa next time around, then last time you lost. So how do you get how do you get consistency here? Is there something you've been able to pick out of those losses and improve on?
Yeah, stop fighting wrestlers or people from Moldova. I think that's a strong case right there. If you're from Moldova, just kind of move along. Like, thank God I got 2 of the, 3 fighters from that country gone and out of the way. But no, I think one of the biggest things was just getting in my head about, oh my God, these are great wrestlers. Realizing my coach is also a D1 wrestler who's been basically holding me against my will and doing things that I tell him no to all the time. And, he's a better wrestler than those guys, no defense to them. But for me to start being able to escape and prove with him, I should have done better against those 2 opponents. So I just try to improve my wrestling because obvious hole in my game.
I was going to ask you, do you think that will be his game plan coming into this fight, to try to emulate what those 2 other guys did to you?
I mean, if I was him, I would try to wrestle me. It's a blatant hole. Like, oh, hey, his wrestling defense is trash. How about we shoot on him? Makes sense to me. But if he wants to stand and punch me, by all means, I'm far better in the striking department than a lot of people give me credit for. No.
No to what?
No.
Well, I was about to ask if you have anything that Andrei Arlovsky's past opponents have, so I guess the answer is no.
I mean, he's fought everybody and everything. Like, he should be used to fighting someone like me. I can't be like, surprise, motherfucker, I brought something new to the table. He's seen it all. It's just, I gotta, capitalize on, his small mistakes and beat him to the punch.
Well, you were kind of alluding to, like, if you were him, you would try to wrestle yourself. But, like, in his previous fights, like the Tom Aspinall, when he got surprised with a takedown and choked out pretty quickly. So is that now the path that you could also take to victory?
I mean, I don't know how he was surprised that Aspinall shot. The dude's a decent wrestler, so. But no, I mean, it's definitely a possibility. But like I said, wrestling is not my forte. Granted, I started out as a wrestler. I just like punching and kicking so much more.
I watched an interview where you said that this fight would really, a victory here would cement yourself as a UFC fighter. I think that was your exact phrase. So you can expand on that a little bit?
Okay, so when you fight Arlovsky, it comes with the praise. Now, I beat Tafa. No disrespect to him, but nothing really happened for me. If I might have been Spivak or Romanov, predominantly Spivak, I think it would have done more to solidify my place in the UFC. Being Romanov, I think the dude's a great fighter, but he's not getting the traction that he needs to put himself out there and get his name out there a little bit more. And so me being Arlovsky would get that traction going.
Are you still training at Dan Henderson's spot?
Yes, so I train at Dan's and I'm also training at Self-Made.
How involved is Dan at that facility?
He's there. I mean, the dude's also like 50 years old, you know, walking around in his cane. He's gonna hit me for that joke. But yeah, no, he's just, you know, he's a retired fighter that's been competing all his life. So like, he's involved, but he's enjoying his time being retired. And I don't fault the guy for enjoying life.
Your kids aware of what you do for a living?
Yes.
They love it?
A little too much so. My daughter reminds me of Strickland because all she wants to do is spar. I'm just like, oh God, you're gonna be next, Sean. That was it. And same attitude, an asshole. So I mean, so I'm like, yeah, I might be raised in Strickland too. My youngest, you know, 6 months, she's completely aware of everything. So.
What's up, mate? There's not too many fighters that can really hang around with the big boys until they're in their mid-40s, like Arlovsky, right? But what do you credit that down to? Is it Arlovsky evolving with the times of mixed martial arts, or is it like, is his style timeless?
Oh, so I do think heavyweights do stick around a little bit longer and more naturally because I don't think we're putting our bodies through intense weight cuts such as the smaller weight classes. I mean, I think Arlovsky's 43, Ben is late 30s, early 40s himself. Overeem, when he was part of it, was in that age bracket. So I do think heavyweights last a little longer because we're not damaging our body through massive amounts of weight cuts. But I think you gotta credit Arlovsky to be active, still winning with a style change. To credit, they usually say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but he's still an old dog, but he's still learning.
When a fighter like Arlovsky can actually weaponize his cardio, what challenges does that bring to you technically?
I plan on returning the favor, because I mean that's one of those things where I'm like, he does try to weaponize his cardio, so I'm like, I could play that game. It's one of the few things I could do as a heavyweight and counter it is, my cardio is pretty damn good, unless you're like laying on top of me. It's not my best there. But when it comes to striking, I think I could keep the pace up with him, maybe even push him into a more of a striking battle where he gets tired.
Lastly, from me, I enjoyed your Tanabosa call out and how he centralised it around who has the best beard. And obviously now you're fighting Arlovsky, who's got like a Greek god beard. Is that a beard fight you're not really interested in taking?
Oh yeah, fuck that. That's god tier beard. Once they offered me Arlovsky out of respect, I shaved my face. I was like, nah, bro. Like Tanner, I can hang with the beard department, but Arlovsky, I was like, out of respect, shave.